Howdy, everybody. I'm Luke with Reata Horsemanship, and welcome to the Reata Horsemanship Family and our first Q&A Wednesday of the year of 2024. I'm really excited to be with you. I apologize for not being on last week. I truly lost my voice. I just got it back a couple days ago, 2 days ago, and I'm still feeling kind of crummy, but I'm here and I can talk, so we can get going. I'm not going to pass any viruses through the computer, hopefully. So Stacy's here with me too. She's just going to read some of the questions that some of the members have. And I hope that this over time becomes something that people really look forward to on Wednesdays. We're going to try to keep it on Wednesdays. Q&A Wednesday is what we're going to call it, at 5:30 Arizona time. And that we're just going to answer people's questions. We're going to have some announcements usually, just tell you what's going on in the Reata Horsemanship membership, and then also any clinics or things coming up, events coming up that we want to share with you, trail rides, etc. We'll let you know. And so here we are, and that this is the first Q&A Wednesday of the year, and so I don't expect a lot of people to be on, but I do hope that a few of you are going to get on, and we do have a couple viewers right now, and we'll get going. I just wanted to tell you, the one thing I wanted to mention is that these Q&A Wednesdays they're being recorded. They're going to be available here in the Reata Horsemanship family. We're also going to put them in a podcast that we're creating on probably Apple and Spotify. We're going to put these on a podcast that you can access all of them. So if you want to remember what I said about a certain question that was asked, or you just want some listening, something to listen to as you're going throughout your day, or you're riding your horse, or what have you, you certainly can listen to this podcast. But by being a member of the Reata Horsemanship family, you get to listen to this live, and you get to ask questions live, and that's one of the benefits of being in this group. And I'm very excited to be with you, and I think eventually we're going to have thousands of people in this group, and it's going to be very successful because my whole goal is your safety. Secondly, your horse's safety. And thirdly, your relationship with your horse. If you aren't safe with your horse, then you have a poor relationship. Your horse isn't safe either. So number one is safety. Are you safe? Are you in a safe situation? And so all the questions that I get, I'm going to address the issue of safety. I heard just the other day of somebody who didn't know much about a horse. They got this new horse in. I don't know if it's a Mustang or what was it, but had it in a stall. The gentleman went with a fly spray bottle. This literally just a few days ago, one of my clients told me this story. He went to spray some fly spray on the horse. There was no halter on the horse. He went in the stall with the horse, went to spray fly spray. The horse kicked him, killed him in the stall. So it really is, when you're dealing with horses, it's life or death situations can occur if you don't know what you're doing. And that's my whole intent, is to help people understand what's a dangerous situation, what's not, how to help horses that are reactive, how to help horses that are dull and lazy and disrespectful, how to help horses that are aggressive, why did they become aggressive, and everything in between, and to help people that struggle. And all of our weaknesses come out when we start working with our horses. And people will say the horse is a mirror to your soul and a mirror to your abilities. And the reason that is because horses, they read your body language perfectly. They're very, very good at it. They probably spent hundreds of thousands of years evolving to be really good at it, possibly millions of years. And so they're much better at reading emotions than we are. And so we have to learn how to think like a horse and learn how to act like a horse. And if we can, we're going to be much safer. And so one announcement I wanted to make, well, a couple probably, but mainly I want to talk about the clinics coming up. So we have an obstacles and trail clinic. We still have a couple spots available. So if you're even in the least bit interested in this obstacles and trail clinic, make sure you contact Stacy. Should we give the number right here? Sure. So it's 480-888-5030, and we'll try to put that number in the comments as well. Again, 480-888-5030. In order to book the clinic, you have to call that number or text Stacy. She's going to want to talk to you on the phone to see if you and your horse might be a good fit for that clinic. The Obstacles and Trail Clinic, it's an incredible clinic. It's really state of the art. It's this year we're going up to the P&M Arena in Apache Junction, Arizona. And we're going to be doing it there because they have an obstacle and trail course there that they built a couple of years ago, and it hasn't been used since they built it. And we're excited to be able to use that. Also, I'm going to be doing a lot of fundamental work with you, helping you with on the ground and in the saddle to prepare your horse for the trail. Most horses and people are not prepared for the trail. There's a reason why most of the accidents out there, or many accidents, especially serious accidents, happen out on the trail. I was just reading a Warwick Schiller book the other day, and he was talking about how he's heard many stories of people going out on a trail ride and never coming back, meaning they passed away out on the trail. Why does that happen? It's because they weren't prepared for the trail. This is my purpose. I want to help you get prepared for the trail. Or if you want to do arena work, what have you, if you want to be in a show or do something other than just trail riding, I can help you prepare for that as well. Horses are horses, no matter where you're at. And out on the trail, there's a lot more things, obstacles that can influence their behavior. And so we want to be able to attack those obstacles, be able to understand how to address any problems that come out on the trail. And that's my purpose for these Q&As. So that trail course is January 27th and 28th. So that's the last weekend of January. And that's the paid portion. And then the week after, the Saturday after, which is February 3rd, you get to go on a trail ride with me. And that is optional, but hopefully all of you take me up on that trail ride because that's going to be a lot of fun. We're actually planning to ride out to Mammoth Steakhouse and eat there, and then return. Probably going to be 4 to 5 hour trail ride, something like that. So we're excited about that. Then we have another obstacles and trail course clinic coming in February, and there's a fundamentals clinic in February. We'll give you those dates later, but if you're really interested in the obstacles and trail course and you have a horse that has some issues, most of us do. If you really look at your horse and your horse's behavior, most horses have some behavioral issues out on the trail. So people ask, well, is this trail course for me? For most people it is. As long as you can get on your horse and ride your horse relatively safely, then this obstacles and trail clinic is for you. If you can't get on your horse yet, you might want to participate in the fundamentals clinic, where we address a lot more of the groundwork and really establishing the foundation for your horse to be able to be ridden. And we do some riding in the fundamentals clinic as well. Anything else that I should announce?
No. Do you want to go to the first question?
Okay. Yep. So first, thanks for joining us, Jason. Good to see you. And yeah, it's been a long time since I've talked to Jason. I appreciate that you're here. I actually grew up with Jason up in Colorado. Okay, so first question.
The first question is from Deb.
Okay.
And it's how to help a horse that is perfect at home, but when you take the horse out places where there's lots of horses, lots of noises, he loses focus and he gets a bit dangerous. When I ask for a lateral bend to calm him, he fights and he argues and lifts his front feet. How do I expose him to these things and get him in the right mind without it being dangerous?
I'll summarize the question real quick. So Deb has a horse that seems really good when there's not a lot of chaos going on, when she's at home with the horse, does really well. And this is, I'm assuming, a horse that I worked with last year. Deb, I'm assuming this is your horse, and he's awesome. He's just young, inexperienced. He's a pretty big, bulky horse, so he's got a lot of power. And when he gets out on the trail, he gets uptight, gets anxious, especially with lots of horses around. If you ride out to the Santan Mountains, there's a lot of bikers around, so there can be a lot of chaos out there. And if there's a bunch of horses out there too, hikers, horses, and bikers, you can have a horse that really can lose it out there. So my first assumption, Deb, is that I'm going to guess that you're not loping your horse on a loose rein in your arena and doing one rein stops from a lope. If that assumption is correct, then it's important that you do that in your arena. And I know the arena that you've worked in, and I think it's a good arena to do that in. Your horse needs to be comfortable enough going at a high speed and then bending to a stop, and being really good at that in the arena. If your horse isn't really good at that in the arena, he's not prepared enough to go out on the trail in a situation like that. So our obstacle and trail course, or obstacles and trail clinic, will address those kind of issues. And we also have, there's going to be multiple horses in the arena up at P&M Arena. So we're going to be in the West Arena. We're going to address issues like that. We're going to start on the ground. Can your horse lope on a lunge line around you while other horses are loping alongside him? And if he can't, he loses his mind, then he's certainly going to demonstrate that behavior and worse out on the trail. So you want to get him good at being able to lope alone and being able to lope with other horses before you do that out on the trail. So if you're struggling with that one rein stop or that bend to a stop out on the trail, most likely there's some holes in what he's doing. I only had him for 2 weeks a while back, and I would be happy to help you personally, but I think he's probably at a level, and since you're riding him out already, if you want to take that plunge and participate in our obstacles and trail clinic, I think it's going to be absolutely well worth it for you. You're going to learn a ton. It's amazing when people come out of these clinics. It really is mind-blowing how much you can learn. And the same thing when I go to other clinics of professional horsemen that I respect, and they're my mentors. I learn so much. I learn an incredible amount, and especially I learn that things are possible, that horses can be safe, and I learn how to do it. And that's what I do in my clinic. So Deb, I'd encourage you to go to that clinic. I know Deb won the
year membership.
The year membership and the personalized trail ride, and we're going to be doing that soon. And so we are going to work on some of those, but she wanted to work separately away from other horses because her horse gets uptight like that. And sorry to, hope I'm not calling you out, Deb, but you asked the question, so we're addressing it.
The membership also has resources to address these things on the ground that you'll be learning in the clinic.
Yeah.
And the hands-on experience really gives you a good hold on it to be able to go back and refer to those videos.
Yeah.
And then,
So we have a virtual clinic course that's in the online membership. So if you guys haven't joined the membership yet, and those of you, I'm getting the link to you this week that won the 12 Days of Christmas. So there will be 12 of you that get the link to the full free 1 year. So you'll get access to all the membership content for 1 year. There's courses in there, and there's other training videos. And the course is the virtual clinic. And in that virtual clinic, you'll learn all the exercises that I teach in a long clinic. We did a mini clinic series over 10 weeks. And I took all those exercises and put them in this virtual clinic. So start at the beginning of that virtual clinic, study those exercises, learn them. You know, we're not probably going to do any round pinning for the trail clinic, obstacles and trail clinic, but we will do a lot of the groundwork and a lot of that beginning riding. So go check that out and make sure that you study that and learn that before. If you do that first and then come to the clinic, things are going to click a lot faster in the clinic. You'll be able to understand what I'm doing, how to place your hands on the rope, how to use the stick and string, how to use the flag, etc., how to desensitize your horse, and how to sensitize your horse. So make sure, that was a great point by Stacy, to go into the membership and watch those videos so you're prepared for the clinic. And if you're not going to the clinic, go and watch those videos so you can practice those on your own. Now, one of the great benefits of being a member of Reata Horsemanship, of being a subscribing member, is that we're going to be doing, and we haven't ironed out the details exactly yet, but we're going to we're going to do at least 2 challenges during the year where you get to actually submit videos for the challenge, and I'm going to evaluate those videos, and then I'm going to be discussing those videos in a live Zoom call. So that's going to be part of the membership. So you actually get personalized feedback from me when I watch your video, and then I'm going to give you feedback. So it'll be recorded feedback, and we're going to do some live feedback, and we'll have winners to the challenges. So this is going to be a lot of fun. And make sure and go and join the membership.
Okay. For the next question, this is, can you shed light into your horse's emotions and their inability to plot?
Okay, real quick. Deb responded. She said she's not loping yet. She's been trotting and turning a lot. Okay, so Deb, work on your 1 rein stops from the walk first. Once he gets really good at that, once he can you pick up on 1 rein, slide, and pull it to your hip. And if he can just turn and stop, or turn his head and stop, then he's good to try it at a trot. And once you do it from a trot, and he can do that really comfortably, then go to a lope. So, and I know you have a round pin there too. If it's the same place that you were last year, use that round pin, try it in there first. You just have a little more contained area, and you can practice and get confident, and then start doing it out in the arena. So one of the biggest mistakes I see people make is they say, I just want to ride trails, I don't want to lope. And the problem is when your horse doesn't lope, he doesn't learn to increase his energy. So when a horse increases his speed, his energy goes up, his emotions go up. And if he doesn't learn to take those emotions that go up and come back down with those emotions through bending and lateral flexion, then when you get on the trail, you're going to run into that problem where you try to bend him and he starts rearing. Like you said, his front feet come off, that's rear. And that can get really serious and problematic if you don't address that. So it's important that anybody who rides a horse out on a trail, that horse should be loping on a consistent basis, at least weekly, a couple times a week. And if it hurts your back or something, I would recommend everybody learn how to lope on their horse. But if your horse is maybe a little bit too much for you at the moment, use somebody else who's younger, has more skills or whatever, to lope your horse, so and watch it and be a participant in that situation where you can watch your horse being loped and then do those one rein stops. Somebody like Sarah who does some training not for us, for herself, but she's been somebody we recommend that she does a really good job. She's participated in like 4 or 5 of my clinics, helped out in some of them. She's really good. So we have a few people we can recommend, especially Sarah at this point. Okay. We'll go to the next question.
Okay. So the question before.
And this was from Gabe, right?
Correct. So I'll read it again. Can you shed light into the horse's emotions and their inability to plot?
Okay. Gabe, you gave me a puzzle there, and I think I understand what you're saying. And I talked with Stacy about it, and thank goodness for her, because she helped me kind of understand it a little bit. But okay, so ability to regulate emotions.
Well, shed the light into the horse's emotions and their inability to plot.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, shed light into horses' emotions and their inability to plot. Now, first of all, let me just say, I'm not a horse mind reader, so I don't know exactly what they're thinking. Although I have worked with horses my whole life and have a pretty good idea that they don't have the same emotional level and thought level that we do. They don't have, their brain isn't developed like ours is. They don't have the prefrontal cortex, where we have the prefrontal cortex, which gives us the ability to think, to have forethought, to plan, to plot. And I think that's what he's talking about. What Gabe's talking about is that plotting, the ability of a horse to plot, to be conniving, to be deceitful. We have the ability to do all of that as human beings, which makes us pretty challenging to live with, right? And so that's what makes horses so much easier in some ways, is because they don't think like we do. I think one of the biggest mistakes people make is they assume that horses think like we do. Now, this is a great time to bring up the book club. Okay, so in our Reata Horsemanship membership, we have what we call a book club. And every month we have a book that we're going to be reading. We're going to read it together, not actually story time reading together, but you're going to read the book, I'm going to read the book, I'm going to take notes, then we're going to come together for a live Zoom call. Everybody who's a paying member of Reata Horsemanship can be a participant in that live Zoom call, and we're going to talk about that book and talk about concepts of the book. This month's book is amazing. I read about half of it this morning, and it's called Think Like a Horse by Grant Gallagher. Okay, Think Like a Horse by Grant Gallagher, and his last name is spelled Golliher, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so at the end of this month, we're going to be having a live Zoom call discussing that Think Like a Horse, and in there he's very good about talking about the emotions of horses, the thought processes of horses, and how we have to understand. The better we understand how a horse thinks, the better we're going to be able to communicate them, the better leaders we're going to be. A lot of people are afraid to put any pressure on horses because they think the horse isn't going to like them if they do that. Now, if you put pressure on a horse at the wrong time, because let's say you're angry and you just go after your horse because you're mad at them, then yes, that's a problem. You're creating an emotional wreck for your horse. But if you put pressure on your horse at the right time because they need to get out of your space, for example, and then when they do, you release that pressure, you're teaching them to respect you and trust you. If I tell my horse to get out of my space by my body language and then I don't follow through, it's like telling my son, hey, if you don't do this, I'm going to take away something. If I tell him, if you don't do this, I'm going to take away something, and he doesn't do it, and I don't take away that thing, I just lied to him. And we don't think of it that way, that we're actually lying. But when we say we're going to do something with our children or with a coworker or whatever, we're gonna behave a certain way. If they behave a certain way, we're gonna respond this way. Then, and we don't do that, we're actually lying. We're not telling the truth. And what does that make us? It makes us untrustworthy. So think about horses. Horses will consider us untrustworthy leaders if we ask them to do something and don't follow through with it. So we need to be consistent with what we ask our horses, how we ask our horses, and draw that line in the sand and make sure that they don't cross that line per se. Okay, so can a horse plot? Horses aren't conniving. They don't think in the back of their mind, I'm going to get my owner when they get here next week or whatever. I don't think they hold grudges necessarily. Horses can think about the future. They know about, if you're consistent with what time you feed them, then they're thinking a few hours before. I know that the food is coming. So they have an incredible ability to anticipate what happens consistently in their life, and that is what they've evolved to do, is anticipate. And so I was just reading this actually in Warwick Schiller last night. Is the horse's ability to anticipate can go for you or against you, and for your relationship or against your relationship, depending on how you address that issue. So if a horse is anticipating something and is creating bad behavior, and you continue to feed that behavior, then you're creating a horse that is technically kind of plotting, but they're not doing it in a bad way. You're just teaching them unknowingly to have a bad habit. So horses don't have, just remember, they don't think like we do. They don't plan like we do, but they do have emotions. And they are very good at anticipating. So as we can become better leaders, then they're going to respect us more and trust us.
Another question we had previously is, how do you handle a spooky horse during trail rides?
Okay, let me just address a question right here, and then I'll go back to that. So Barbara asked, what's the February book? Where's my list of books?
Tell her we'll link them in there.
We'll make sure and put the February book in the comments after this is over, and we'll make a post on the February book coming up too.
I just wanted to address another resource that Luke uses to be able to get through all these books is anything similar to Audible. So anywhere you can listen when you're driving in the car, out with your horses, doing any kind of activities, out walking, you can use Audible to be able to maximize your time and be able to do more things and get through those books.
Yeah, so hopefully you guys heard that. Audible, 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 it's about $16 a month. And I can get like 3 or 4 books a month. And I have tons of books on there. I've reread multiple books. You can use what we call net time, no extra time. So if you're driving to work and you drive, let's say 30 minutes to work and 30 minutes back, that's an hour a day that you can listen to that book. So that's when I said I read half a book this morning, that's because I was doing it while I was training. I was reading that book. So I figured,
And the library is also another good free resource to use. You can, through your library membership, if someone's, tight on money, you can, a lot of the books, not all of them, but a lot of the books will be listed in the library resources that you can use on their version of Audible. So Yeah.
Okay. So you're saying that the library has a version of Audible?
Yes, I'm not sure. Free. I'm not sure what they use, but they have.
And it's online?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So I didn't know that. So the whatever local library you're in, for us, we're at Queen Creek Library is the closest to us, right? The Queen Creek Library off of Ellsworth and Ocotillo. Go to your local library, so you might be able to find some of those books on Audible or in your local library. Actually, like the live books, or going to actually get a book, a hardback, or getting online. Also, Amazon.com. Books going to cost you somewhere between $12 and $20 probably, some of these books, and it's well worth it. And have an Audible. When did we start Audible? About 6 or 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And I just love it. I love Audible. It's an expense it's an investment in my education, and I've read many, many, many books through Audible. So we'll get that to you. Okay, thanks, Deb. She said they can hear you.
Perfect.
Okay, let me look really quick because I do have it. Okay. The February book is called The 5 Love Languages because it's Valentine's month. So the theme is going to be seek to love. And there's a reason why we have that theme, seek to love. And then the 5 love languages, it's by Gary Chapman. So that's the book I chose.
Yeah.
I chose some of these books without Stacy knowing, so hopefully that's okay. I like the book, and I think you can learn a lot from that book as far as your horsemanship goes as well. So it's cool. Okay, next question.
Let's see. How do you handle a spooky horse on the trail during trail rides?
Okay. How do you handle a spooky horse out on the trail? And this goes back to Deb's question. You'll see over time everything kind of interconnects, and the key is building the foundation. There's a reason why I started calling my clinics building the foundation of your dream horse, because whatever you want to do, however you see your life with your horse, whether you're in the show ring or out on the trail, or in the roping arena, what have you, there's a foundation to every horse, and if you build that foundation, everything else can be awesome if that horse is naturally good at that. So handling a spooky horse out on the trail, let's assume that I did everything possible. Like I had a horse a couple months ago or a few months back. His name was Bodie, and we have actually some trail riding videos for the membership that I put up. There's 3 different videos in the membership about Bodie and how it was the last session in the arena and his first session out on the trail. It was all done in one day. It was about a 2-hour session, and I got him out on the trail for the first time, and I showed you what I require of my horse before he gets out on the trail. Now, Bodie went out on the trail in this area, suburban area, and he did fairly well. And then over the next 3 or 4 weeks, he was kind of challenging. He was really spooky. And you get Arabians, and even I've had quarter horses that can be really spooky. I've had lots of thoroughbreds that can be really spooky. So if you prepare your horse well, you do all of the fundamentals on the ground and in the saddle, and you get out on the trail, and you have a spooky horse, put your horse's feet to work. That's probably the number one. If they're worried about something, bring their thoughts back to you. Just like us, horses can't think of more than one thing at a time. So if they focus over here at a spooky object, just pick up the rein on the other side. So I'm pointing left, and now it looks different on there. I think it looks like I'm pointing right, but I'm pointing. Well, yeah, it is. Sorry. So I'm pointing right, or I'm looking right because I'm spooked. The horse is spooked to the right, and then I'm going to pick up on the left rein and direct his attention to the left. So I might bend him in circles to the left. I'm going to put his feet to work, not because I'm trying to tire him out, but I'm trying to get his focus on me. And the more I do that, 2 things happen. He stops worrying about whatever he's worried about, and he gets better. He gets more responsive to me. So you really kill 2 birds with 1 stone by taking down his anxiety level and putting his feet to work, doing circles around bushes, circles around trees, circles around rocks. There's a tree-to-tree exercise where you just trot to a tree, walk around the tree, trot to another tree, walk around that tree, trot to another one, walk. And once they're good at that, you can lope to a tree, trot around the tree. And that tree can be a bush, a rock, or whatever. So that's a great exercise. Just circling your horse. Now, one key to this is, it's something when I was younger, I used to make this mistake all the time. I would increase my energy level when they would get spooky. And that's the wrong thing to do. You want to lower your energy level when they get spooky. If you lower your energy, slow yourself down, bend them in a circle, bend them until they start to relax, and then let them out of it. So you can intentionally go around things, or you can just literally just bend them into a circle until they start to relax, and then let them go forward. And then if they get nervous about something, bend them again. Bend them in the opposite direction. Now, if I'm going by something and my horse is nervous about this, and I've talked a lot about this, you have to address the issue where they're nervous and spooky. So if they're generally spooked about the wind or whatever, then putting them to work is a great idea. If they're scared of something, like I took a horse out a couple of months back that just comes to mind, and this is the first time she was out, just beautiful horse, and she saw this black stump, a burned out stump, and she was freaked out about it. I just moved her feet left to right and kept approaching that stump until finally she approached it, got curious, smelled it. I circled it a few times, and then she was fine. As long as, if I can walk by an object and my horse doesn't sway away from that object, I'm good to go. If my horse sways away in any way, then that's a spook. That's what I would call a spook. It's a mild spook, but it's something that they're afraid of. So move your horse's feet left to right, circle that object, get them comfortable with that object. And when they approach it, take your pressure off, let them hang out, and then move on. But don't miss, if you miss opportunities to correct that behavior, your horse is going to get more and more spooky over time. So people tell me all the time, my horse just gets worse and worse the more I ride him out on the trail. And that's mainly for two reasons. They don't address the spookiness when they're out on the trail. So when they're afraid of something, they don't address it. They don't face their fears. And two, they're just simply not prepared by not loping them, not learning. Their horse hasn't learned how to bring their emotions up and bring them back down when necessary.
Okay. I think we're about at time.
Okay. And we're planning on doing these Q&A Wednesdays probably around 30 minutes. So we're at 33, almost 34 minutes. 30 minutes is kind of what we're shooting for. If there's a whole bunch of questions, we might go up to an hour. We certainly won't go over an hour, but we'll try to keep it around 30 minutes. That way you have some kind of a relatively short piece of content that you can listen to later and rewatch this. But I really appreciate you guys listening today, watching this Q&A Wednesday. Thanks, Stacy, for reading some of those questions. And I'm excited for Reata Horsemanship Family, for this group. I'm excited for those of you who are choosing to be members. The last thing I wanted to mention is we have $1 for the first month membership and $20 per month after that. That is still available right now, up to February 14th. After February 14th, that deal's not going to be available anymore. There won't be $1 for the first month, and our prices are going up to either $39 or $49 a month for the membership. Because of all what we're going to be giving you in the membership, the live stuff, the video input, and also the new courses coming out. There's going to be 2 to 3 new courses that we're putting out in the membership this year. So there's a lot of stuff that there's way more than you can probably ever go through. So we're trying to hone in on very specific small pieces of training information that can help you really go out and take 5-10 minutes and make a change in your horse and in your relationship with your horse. So that's what we're looking forward to. So go to reatahorsemanship.com and join our membership. In order to get the $1 for the first month, there's a link. If it's not at the top of the page, you have to scroll down just a little bit, and it says get the membership for $1 or something. That's the only link I have right now. If you go to the membership, that you can find that. So just click on that, and we can send you the link privately too if you're interested in that. It's just $1. You can check it out, and you can start to participate. And you can also buy a year membership. It's $197 for the year, and so you save 2 months of payments for the year. And when the price goes up in February, the year membership is going to be pushing $400 to $500. So,
yep, I think that covers it.
Okay.
Oh, and also let them know that if they're not participating in the clinics, they can audit.
Yeah. So if you don't have a horse to participate in the clinic, now if you want to participate in the clinic and don't have a horse, contact us and we'll try to figure that out. We have a couple horses that we might be able to use. We may know somebody in the group who has a horse you could use. So if you don't have a horse, don't let that stop you. But if you're not going to participate in the clinic, you can come and audit. I want everybody to come, check it out, take notes. I love to go and watch clinics of professional horsemen that I respect, and I take copious notes, take lots of notes. By the end of the day, my head hurts like crazy. Stacy will affirm this. I get headaches because I think so hard about it, because they're, in my mind, so advanced. And so you might feel that same way when you come to one of my clinics. So take notes, come and hang out with us, say hi, and we can't wait to see you on January 27th and 28th. Make sure to contact Stacy, 480-888-5030, if you want to book the clinic.
And put new comments in for next week's question and answers.
Yeah, and then we might even, I was thinking maybe we might start a chat in the group.
Okay.
You can start specific chats. I'm learning all this stuff. I'm not real keen on technology. So we can start a chat in the group for the question and answer Wednesday, so people can put their questions right there and we can just pull from that. That's probably what we're going to do. So we'll try to start that chat. And I know there's a lot of questions out there. We could talk all year round, 8 hours a day, 24 hours. I mean, we could go 24/7 with questions and answers the whole year and never run out of things to talk about. There's so much to learn with horses. I'm excited to share the information I know with you, and I'm always learning, and I'm always going to be spitting that back up and helping you out. That's my goal. Help us and help you at the same time. Hope you guys have a great evening. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon.